So in working out how best to use the Wheel of Life activity for myself, I developed a process that I then share with my groups in my workshop, so that's what I'm going to share with you today. I've been using the Wheel of Life activity on and off for a few years, but it was only when I got my Clever Fox planner this year that it was built into the monthly review, and I started to do it on a regular basis and be able to compare one month to the next and really get a lot more value out of it. What I realised is that it's a tool that can be used both for reflection and for goal setting, and that actually you can get a lot more out of it than I initially realised. The first step is to choose 8 life areas that are relevant to you. So the ones that I use based on what's in the Clever Fox planner are health and fitness, business and career, family and friends, relationships and romance, finance, personal development, fun and recreation, and spiritual. But if any of those areas don't resonate with you, or they're just not relevant to your life at the moment, then change them to something that matters to you. Another example of how these 8 areas could be labelled are attitude or mindset, career, money, personal growth, health, family, relationships, social life. I delivered this activity as a workshop a couple of weeks ago, and a few of the women in the group were already retired with no plans to go back to work of any kind, so having something in about career was completely irrelevant to them. So they changed it to travel and adventure, and I really liked that it was something that was important to them now but may not have been important several years ago. So there's no right or wrong way to pick these 8 areas other than they need to be relevant to you, they need to be something that matters to you on some level. Next, I like to assign a colour to each of these 8 life areas, not least because it looks nicer to look back at it and it becomes more of a visual representation of how you feel rather than just a paper exercise to do. Secondly, it makes it a lot easier to compare one month to the next if you're looking at the same colour for each of the areas. Now, as mentioned, on a monthly basis I use the Wheel of Life that's built into my Clever Fox planner, but I also have a printable version that I use when I deliver this in a workshop, so I'll put the link to both the planner and the worksheet below. Alternatively, of course, you can just draw your own, so you can draw around a cup or plate or any circular object, draw in the lines in between and make your own Wheel of Life. Now, using the colours that you've chosen for each of those areas, score each area between 0 and 10, with 0 being you're really not happy in that area of your life and 10 being you're really fulfilled in that area. Now, it's important not to overthink this, but that's easier said than done. Even if you were doing it as a monthly reflection, it's hard to remember how you felt about a particular part of your life over the period of a whole month. So the way I recommend doing it is to just be in the moment. In the moment, how do you feel about your health and fitness? How do you feel about money? How do you feel about your career? And go through it and really just listen to your heart and go with your instinct rather than overthink it. And then colour in each of those areas to represent that using the colours that you've chosen. Next, take a moment to step back and reflect on your wheel and what it looks like. One thing to notice is it even all the way around, or is it very up and down? It's much more common for it to be up and down. We wouldn't expect that you'd get the same score in every area of your life, and in many ways that's not what we're looking for. We're looking at making small changes that can make a big difference. So it's not the goal to score 10 in every area by any means. The goal of it is to work out what's most important right now and take some small steps to improve in that area. Next, choose the 3 life areas that are most important to you right now. These don't have to be the ones where you've scored either the highest or the lowest, but rather the ones that feel most relevant at the moment. And note down how you've scored each of those sections. Now, for the purpose of this video, we're just going to take one of those life areas and see if we can write a vision or a goal in a single sentence for it. But of course you can go on and do this with all the other areas as well. So for example, for health and fitness, I've put to establish an exercise routine that is both realistic and enjoyable. For family and friends, I've put to have more quality time more often with my children when I'm not distracted by work. See if you can sum up a goal for that area in just one sentence. In other words, if you were to score a 10 in that area of your life, if you were to be totally fulfilled in that area, what would that look and feel like? The next step is to think about how you can get from where you are to where you want to go. And this isn't a case of, oh, I've scored it a 3, how do I get to a 10? Because that's too overwhelming. It's about what is the first small step I can take to getting to where I want to in this area of my life. And again, focusing on one area at a time instead of the whole wheel makes it feel more doable and achievable. So taking one of those areas and your initial score, how might you get to the next number? What step could you take today to get to that next number? And as you go through this exercise, remember that the objective is not to score 10 in every area of your life, but rather to identify those areas that are the most important to you right now and the small steps that you can take to make small, meaningful improvements in those areas. Again, I'll put the links to the planner and the worksheet below, as well as an invitation to our free online workshops, and I'd love to know how you get on with this activity.